Welcome everybody to the Daily Closing episode 65. Good to see everybody here today. We have a number of very important issues to talk about today. Most of them obviously are connected to the two most important topics that we have going on right now. Obviously, the election that is getting closer and closer, about 200 days or less, so that we have a presidential national election from day one. Lorena Pernaleta is here with us. Lorena, great having you with us and joining us
Happy
for
to
the
be here.
first time. From New York City. From Brooklyn, New York, Jason Bambi. Jason, great having you with us, man. It's a great opportunity to, we know you very well. We know you from financial services. We know you as a broker, somebody who's mentoring and helping develop other people. Based out of Brooklyn, New York, one of my favorite places on the planet. So but I want to give you the opportunity for everybody that doesn't know you. You know what I mean? So you can introduce yourself. Let us know, where you are, but what you got going on. Who you're voting for. I mean, everybody. We'll say.
Awesome. Well, one, I'd like to absolutely thank you for allowing me to be here. This is absolutely amazing. Just seeing several episodes, the numbers are continuing to tick up in an upward direction for the people who are acknowledging you and celebrating you. Yes, my name is Jason Bambi, and I'm out here in Brooklyn, New York. I've been in Brooklyn, New York for the past about 13 years. Grew up in Staten Island. Most people don't think that's a part of the boroughs, but it represents. Trust me when I tell you. But for the most part, out here in Brooklyn, New York, absolutely loving New York, and it's just a great environment. It's a little expensive, but it's just a wonderful environment indeed. And I got some bagels the next time I come to Florida for you. All right.
There you go. Doesn't get any better than that. So, guys, let me jump right into a couple of things that we got to consider. Actually, I want to, Lorena, I want to give you the opportunity to elaborate a little bit. We're having an earlier conversation about something that just became official, which is the expansion of Title IX. What can you tell us about it? What is Title IX to begin with?
Title IX basically it was put together to basically protect women's right. Let's just call it that. It's another way of simplifying it. Equality when it comes to qualifying for scholarships, academic, and all of these different things, just to make sure that you're not discriminated based on gender, basically, right? And so right now, the Biden administration, what it did, they have expanded on those rights to include transgender individuals. And so what that means is we're right back to where we started, because any male that identifies as a female, whether there is anything connected to that, transsexual versus transgender, all of that stuff that we've been talking about for a little bit. Basically, they can apply for academic scholarships and have full access to bathrooms and dorm rooms and stuff like that. So where there was some level of protection, where it kind of feels like we're right back to where we started.
But when you're saying we're right back to where we started, what do you mean precisely?
There shouldn't be a Title IX, basically, just because a dude wants to, like, if I can be real, just because a dude wants to identify as a woman and just walks in with a skirt and a full-on beard, that gives Jason a right to just be like, hey, let me apply for the women's scholarship, volleyball scholarship or whatever, and he's like 7 feet tall.
So let me see if I can understand what you're saying. Are you saying that for many, many years in history, man was essentially the only gender that was identified as the dominant, established, all the rights, everything that you can think of, and then eventually, through great evolution, technology, communication, civil rights, all these great ideas that were good for the society, eventually were able to allow man and female to be genders that have the right to be treated equally. In some way, somehow, man has managed to outmaneuver women again, and now we're gonna be able to go anywhere we want to, have the literally take away the rights. The question is, it appears that what the federal government is doing is literally saying transgender is a gender. Is that
it's more than that. They're basically erasing. It's basically erasing women. That's literally what is happening. Is like literally, and I'll let Jason comment on it, because he had a very specific comment that I think is very accurate when we were talking about it. And it's just that this is a way of, whether you want to or not, they're trying to protect a group of people, that definitely don't need protection, because they just flippy floppy, they go back and forward when it comes to however they identify, because it is an identity. What it's doing is it had literally is basically erasing women's sport. What is the point of having women's sport if men can compete in it? What is the difference of having bathrooms that are male and female, when just anybody can walk into the bathroom, right? And it's so much more important for women, just because when you have no guy is gonna be angry if a girl wants to go to the bathroom, but it's the other way around. When you have women in their spaces where they're meant to feel safe,
Here's sexist comment, just so that you know.
It totally is. And
We do get intimidated. We do get.
This
no,
is
but it's not okay.
absolutely
Having a guy full on shaving his beard, in a women's bathroom, that's not okay, and so that is what's happening right now. And the expansion of Title IX is that it literally, whatever little protection was left, because it expanded, then it includes everybody. So
On a federal government level, something that's happened. Jason, what was your take on that?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, you're looking at it like this, where I could just decide which way I want to go based off of what is going to benefit me the most. That to me doesn't seem very fair. If we're living in a fair society, there's an absolute difference. There's an absolute difference between a man and female. I don't even have to break down this, right? I've seen sports. You had a transgender man fighting a female. I can tell you what the results were of that, but I think you could figure it out, right? You had people who are playing basketball with transgender men, and some of the females got concussions as a result of this. I'm waiting for the day where people realize that maybe, what if we just create a sports team just for transgenders?
Sweet, huh? Did you like that? Yeah.
You got the men, you got the females, and you got the transgender. Wouldn't that be a great idea? But sometimes in politics, great ideas just leave the back door open and escape.
So I think that's, believe it or not, that's already something that was already put out there on the table. It said, and there's a number of senators that already having this conversation, saying, if you want to do this, if you want to play this game, then why not create just a specific group where they will be allowed to participate based on their own description. The problem is that at a federal level, where we got to be very careful, is that essentially the reason why I asked you, it sounded like I was asking you a funny question, but I asked you, is transgender a gender? Because essentially what federal government is saying, here is this new classification that we are going to put at the same level, and to prove it to you, we're going to give them the same rights to be able to ask for the same benefit. That's a very scary situation.